Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Ann at Martin House Flowers. We have had an amazing weekend. The weather was so beautiful and cool, sunny skies, blue skies, and no humidity. It was a wonderful weekend to clean up after the storms, and even though I had a number of broken dahlias, as you can see here, this dinner plate dahlia that I found, it just made my day to be able to work in the garden while it was cool, no humidity, and this dahlia sadly broke, but I put it in a vase in my dining room, so it is loving life. And I managed to not only clean up the gardens over the last 2 days, but I also went to a local garden center where there was a sale. So you'll see in this video my big plant haul. My husband was working in the garage, and his first words when I popped the trunk was, "Oh no." But of course, he took pictures of me because he knew how happy I was. And I had no plans to buy more than, maybe one plant to replace that spiraea at the side of the porch. But I found 2 of these Pinky Winky Prime hydrangeas. As you know, I've planted one in the corner. It was only a 1 gallon from Proven Winners Direct. So these were, I think, 3-gallon pots, and they were all 25% off, all the perennials and shrubs and trees at my local, Bloomin' Gardens here in Sycamore. I've done a video of that nursery before. So this Pinky Winky Prime grows to 6 to 9 feet tall and wide. It needs 6 hours of sun, and there are beautiful big flowers. It grows, you need about 6 to 9 feet of spacing. But what I loved about this is I did consider another vanilla strawberry panicle hydrangea that grows tall as well. But what I like about the Pinky Winky Prime is the stems. I hope I show it here. The stems are pretty strong, and they're sort of a red stem. So I'm looking forward to the winter when the stems will be nice and the branches will be nice and red, almost like a dogwood. So we've placed them there for now, and I think we're going to live with it for at least a couple days. Here's the other Pinky Winky Prime I planted in the spring, and I did a video where we planted that together, so you can see the size of the panicles. And those goldenrod soldier beetles are actually beneficial insects, and they act as pollinators, and they eat pests like aphids and are totally harmless. And so not to be concerned about those. So I wanted to take a look here at the back where I've been debating for quite a while now, for several weeks, what to plant. And Barb and I, she came to visit me a couple weeks ago, and we've been trying to figure out what to plant back here. And I have been, struggling as to what to put here. So we haven't figured that out yet, but I did decide instead of the vanilla strawberry to plant those Pinky Winky Primes because I saw them today. So here is the placement of our old bird bath. It belongs to my mother-in-law actually. And Greg was in a mood today to do a lot of fixing of and cleaning of our fountain here. He soaked it in vinegar. There was something clogging the pump. There's my newly planted myrtle topiary that you saw in my last video that was smashed with our storms last weekend. And here are 3 of the perennial mums that I purchased today from Bloomin' Gardens. So this is the placement. They're in between my dahlias, and I'm really excited about having mums that will be perennialized. So these are a perennial mum, Chrysanthemum Clara Curtis, Dendranthemum, and the color is a salmon pink, and they bloom from August to October. They grow 20 to 24 inches wide, 18 to 24 inches tall. So I'm super excited about these because I've never been a fan of moms, because you'll find them right now in the big box stores and they're, bloomed out already and they're just going to dry up too quickly. But with these being perennial, I'm super excited about having them potentially winter over, and I can enjoy them again next year, hopefully. The second perennial or third perennial I picked up was the plumbago. Now, I've had a plumbago in the past. We've planted it just in front of our kitchen garden, our L-shaped raised bed. So one of the ladies that works there brought this to my attention, and I have had it before and it didn't survive. So I'm hoping that having it under that tree there, and it needs part sun, will be a great spot for it. So look what I was able to find. I found my favorite salvia, and it's going to go in that spot. Greg was so nice to dig the hole for me while I was out plant shopping. This is all I went to the plant store for, was something to go right there. And in a previous video, I mentioned that I have one already over here, so I wanted to repeat one there. And here's that sprinter boxwood we planted together in the last video. And then to the left is that spirea, Princess Spirea, where I originally had 3 and 2 of them died. So there's a repetition. Everyone knows me knows I love repetition. And look who is playing in my garden beds. Crazy rabbit. Did you see it? Yeah.
Around because I just was pulling the hose.
Oh, because I thought it was hiding underneath here.
No, did he take off?
Yeah. He went down there, scuffed along.
That's what we went in the garage.
Greg was just asking me if I saw the rabbit. So here are the Angelonia that I picked up for $1. They had $1 table of annuals. So I like this raspberry color. I'm going to plant one in each of the urns just to give some height and add a little bit of fall color. I did cut back the urn annuals. I can't get over the size of Kiss Me Kate. I'm hoping it'll flower again soon. I'm super thrilled that I'm back here in this corner, and believe it or not, I found the perennial that I was hoping to find, and it happened to be on sale because it's that time of year when everything is on sale in your local garden centers. So go ahead and visit your local garden center, see what they've got. I went to Bloomin' Gardens. I did a video of that nursery. It's a local nursery in Sycamore, Illinois, and they had all their perennials on for 25% off along with trees. So I just stumbled upon it. I'm so excited. This is Living Large Big Sky Salvia, and I have one over there, and I was able to find one to put over here. And in a previous video, I planted my sprinter boxwood over here, and this is the one living Princess Spirea of 3 that I previously had. And these were builder Spireas, so I'm not heartbroken when they, have had their lives spent. So anyway, Eddie's over there barking. But anyway, yeah, my husband was kind enough, Greg was kind enough to remove that spirea for me, so we didn't have to bore you with that detail. And I'm just gonna plop this in here. Oh, I do have to grab my biotone because I do have that. So I guess he just put the dirt back in. See if I can grab a tag. But Living Large Salvia Big Sky Living Large Perennial Salvia grows 28 to 22 inches tall by 28 to 32 inches wide. So 28 to 32 inches tall and wide. So basically, roughly 2.5 feet tall and wide. It needs full sun and it blooms from May to June. And here we are in August and it's still blooming, as you can see. And the color is purple. And it was $17 only and 25% off that. So I thought that was a great deal. Can you hear the Canada geese? It's like they're migrating. Although I doubt they'll leave town. They never do. They're here all year long. They had a couple of them, and I'm so excited that I found one. Tomorrow's the end of the 25% off sale, so I'm almost wondering if I should get another one. It's really great when you can plant something that you've tested. I think I planted it last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. And it grew so well. Now, because they have a sale, there's no warranty on anything. But that's sort of the chance you take when you buy things on sale, on clearance, end of season. But I'm not worried because this perennial, I think, let's see, I think it said it goes to zone 4. I'll have to look that up and I'll put that down in the screen. So there you go. There's one. Let's move on to another perennial over here that I'm going to plant underneath my crabapple tree. Right there. Right beside my At Last roses. So this is plumbago. Plumbago grows 8 to 12 inches tall. You space them 10 to 20 inches apart. It likes more than 4 hours of daily sun. It's for zones 5 to 9, and it's a late summer to mid-fall bloomer. And it pair it with butterfly bush, stonecrop, coral bells. Long-lived deciduous ground cover, brilliant blue flowers, bronzy red fall foliage, grows in sun or part shade. Some shade recommended in south, divide in late spring. So it's supposed to be a ground cover, which is perfect because I used to have 3 creeping phlox under here the first spring that we moved, the spring after we moved in the fall. So, and I think this electric blue that you see here, that pairs really nicely with this apricot rose At Last, just finally at last looking better. It grows 10 to 12 inches high by 12 to 18 inches, July to September bloom. Perfect. I did have it in the corner of my kitchen garden a couple years ago and it didn't return, so I'm hoping that it does better here. ceratostigma plumbago. So let's plant it. I guess a couple of them would have been nice. So I think right there, I'm really hoping that I think right here is good, because then when the roses grow to maybe 2 to 3 feet wide, they won't be in the way, and it's kind of facing the path and it'll be sort of beside the living large salvia. This is the west side, southwest side. Let's see. I think that's good. And there's part of it's growing down here. There we go. Couple broken pieces. Is that? Yeah, that's the color right there. I'm just going to plop this in here. I don't know if the bunnies eat this, but I'll water that after. So there's the plumbago, and a few feet away is living large big sky, and a few feet away back there is the one we just planted, which is right behind. Let's see, there it is right there. Wants to focus on my finger, but you see it back there. So there's the one we planted, where and there's the sprinter boxwood to the left. It keeps focusing on my finger. And the one that I planted early spring. So I'm really happy with that. And for now, that Princess Spirea is still doing well in the corner there. Okay, so let's move on to the front path where we have some perennial mums. Isn't that pretty? The At Last roses. I haven't been that impressed with them, but they're finally blooming nicely. This spring, they suffered because of the bunnies, and earlier this afternoon, we've already had dinner, so it's just we've got that 1.5 hour window before the sun goes down. It's probably around 7, just after 7. Oh, let's put this in here. Isn't that pretty? I think that's going to be okay as long as the bunnies don't eat it. And over there is the other living large, and there's the other living large that we just planted with the can behind it. I think I'm going to be happy with that. So here we are at the front walkway with my Earth Angel rose on the left. Just in front of it there, we have the Ageratum. There's Earth Angel. I've got 1, 2, 3 perennial mums and some geraniums and the row of boxwoods here, where there's 1 boxwood and then 6 more surrounding the walkway. So I'm planting these 3 mums here because I want to have some fall mums. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to move quickly because the sun's going down. The neighbors are out for a walk. And right behind this, you see the clay? Wow. So right here is an ageratum that was in one of the urns on the porch, and I moved it over here. But this is typical of our soil. Hopefully you can see that. Let me check the camera. Okay. So that's typical of our ground. It's all clay just below the mulch. Some of the soil that you've seen me dig closer to the porch is much richer because it's been amended so many times. I wonder if that's a root of the rose, Earth Angel, because it's mostly annuals around here. So it's really important to put some root starter. Because we see it, how clay it is. Oh. You can see how the perennials are like growing to the roots. It's probably a little root bound. So I got my Japanese knife out and I feel like I'm tearing the roots. or tearing the plant away from the roots. I don't want to do that. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, that's the next best thing to do. Just cut away. Wow, look at that. Wow. Oh. Loosen the roots. Get them in there. So this is a chrysanthemum Clara Curtis, dendranthemum, perennial mum, and it grows 18 to 24 inches high. The color is salmon pink, and it blooms from August to October. So I'm super excited about that. I don't normally buy mums because they're usually sold, um, bloomed out at the stores, the big box stores, and they just tend to dry up and bloom too quickly. And they're selling them right now at big box stores, and they just dry out too quickly. But this one is supposed to perennialize, and I asked the ladies at the garden center whether or not I could plant it in a container and then before frost plant it out into the landscape, and they said no. They said that you have better chance of it perennializing if you get it established in the ground now. And as you can see, it was really wanting to root in the container. That was pretty root bound, especially at the top, almost like it was choking. So really excited for this, because I don't know whether or not I will put more seedlings, annual seedlings, like I have this spring and summer, like these ageratum over here. They weren't that exciting. And just a foot away is is a boxwood, a winter gem boxwood, I think. So I think it'd be really nice if that perennializes for me. And a salmon pink mom sounds really pretty. I'll see if I can look up this variety and drop in a photo. But yeah, really nice. Let's move on to the next one. So just in front here is a geranium and some zinnias, which are all annuals. And over here is a dahlia tuber, which I don't know how successful I will be at wintering over my dahlia tubers. So I would love to have something perennial over here. And just a few feet away is my earth angel. Hi, Eddie. Yeah, you didn't want to come out. what root that is. Let's just see. Yeah, these are the types of cans that are so thin that you're better off just peeling off like that. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but look how root bound that is. Crazy. So root bound. Greg took off all the timers, and it just seemed kind of sad, he said, that we turned off all the timers for the hoses. So now it's just hand hosing, hand watering from here on in, which that's all I've been doing. It's just we had timers on for the lawn, but I don't think we need to do that any longer. I'm just looking at my dahlias over here, and they say you should water your dahlias like you do roses. They're prone to root rot or fungus, which I am seeing some of the leaves, so you should water from below by the root, not up top. I'm gonna go ahead and plant this last annual. They had a table of annuals for $1. So let me just plant this one here in my container of Gomphrena ageratum and Dichondra silver falls. I had some dried allium balls in here for height, but I have since removed them. And just the other day, I cut these back significantly because after the rainstorm, everything had toppled over. So I wanted something with height, and this is Angelonia. Thank you. And Angelonia grows 4 0.5 inches, a change ruby sangria. Anyway, I wanted this red, raspberry red here to just give it a little bit of fall color. And I think they're going to grow taller than these if I let it, and keep these trimmed. Keep my ageratums trimmed and my gomphrena, and it ties in with the coleus that's on the table over here. So let's just pop these in really quickly, and then that'll be it for now, because the hydrangeas that I have in the back, I'm going to need help with those. This time of year, it's really tough to, there's a gomphrena, really tough to find annuals. So I have a tiny little spot back here. And angelonias are, I think they're also a type of snapdragon, if I'm not mistaken. I can reuse this pot for potting up. But see the roots, they've been in this pot for a while, so it really wants to get planted. These urns can be tricky because they're very shallow on the edges, and then they go deeper in the center, as you can imagine, an urn shape. So I'm just doing a little pruning. I could probably cut these back because there's all this new growth down under, but I'm not too worried. You know, I had cut back all this gomphrena and ageratum, so I thought just in case some of them, you know, don't recover from the heavy pruning I did, then I thought I'll just pop in this annual for height at the back. That's going to be it for today. It's pretty, it's dusk now. It's pretty dark. So I'm just going to finish the other one on the other side of the porch, and we will continue with the Pinky Winky Prime that I bought to put in the backyard. So I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. So just giving you one last look. Hard to tell. It's a little bit of a mess, but I think it might shoot up there. And over here, I've hosed everything down. It's pretty dark, but there's the back. Let's see what it looks like from the front. You can sort of tell from the shadow. Only a crazy gardener would be doing this in the dark. Aren't I crazy? Just a little bit. It's pretty lit. So Eddie's gone. He was here earlier. So I just wanted to show you my arbors at night. You can't see how dark it is, but there's my arbor all lit. And those haven't come on yet. It looks pretty bright back there. So just a few minutes after the first arbor got lit, these two are lit now. And it's amazing how bright it still looks out. It's pretty dark out already. Look at the sky. What a cool sky. So thanks for joining me tonight with my nighttime planting. It was late afternoon planting, turned into evening. There's the coleus I grew from seed that I'm trying to kind of just mirror in terms of something dark. those are the last two that I have to plant for my haul today. But I think I'm going to need some help because those are, I think, 3-gallon pots. So, and I'm going to live with those there just overnight, just to make sure we like them in that spot.